Hey, Gabriel here with the Icon Capture GPS Intelligence Brief for April 21st, 2026. All right, government affairs directors and influence practitioners, we need to talk because this is one of those boards where if you only look at the opportunity count, you are going to misread the market. Here's what I want to do with you today. I want to walk through the new opportunity flow, the legislative and executive movement, the regulatory and court signals, and then bottom line what this means if you're actually managing a portfolio right now and trying to decide where to lean in, where to stay patient, and where you may be kidding yourself. Before we start, this is the last brief before this week's terrain window narrows. 2 seats left in this week's CR Freeze Shaping Window Review. 65 of 96 agencies stalled under CR. That signal is what opened this session, and it will not repeat the same way next week. Code CR65 at the-icon.ai capture. Now, let's read the board. So let's get right to the facts. Over the last 168 hours, GPS surfaced 157 new opportunities posted on SAM.gov. 0 federal hiring signals across 0 agencies, 23 C-SPAN captures. And all of that is happening while market BCL is 0%, with 0 agencies stalled under the continuing resolution. Opportunity flow within the past 168 hours shows a notable figure of 157 opportunities. Yet, when examining the top postings like AMC A&E FPLA Ruba, Gardening Services, and 53 Runner, it becomes clear that while the volume is there, the accessibility might not be. The absence of clear financial data in these top opportunities suggests a potential barrier for those attempting to assess feasibility and risk. For managers who read this tape, this could indicate a need to dig deeper beyond the surface-level data. On the compliance radar, CR, there's a visible drag, which could be contributing to the friction we're seeing. Without legislative, executive, or court opinion movements, the BCL, business compliance layer percentage, remains at a standstill. This mix of factors creates an environment where high volume doesn't necessarily translate to high accessibility or actionability. Here, the terminal comes into play as a vital instrument for understanding the full landscape that raw data alone doesn't reveal. In this week's arc of regulatory and court signal, the board is whispering that while opportunities are abundant, the path to accessing them may be fraught with unseen challenges. Government affairs directors and influence practitioners should consider this when crafting strategies. The focus should perhaps pivot toward understanding the intricacies of each opportunity rather than the sheer number. Secondary signals paint an intriguing picture. Terrain holes, hiring spread, court opinions, and lobbying clusters remain absent, suggesting a quiet on these fronts. This lack of movement can often lead to market mispricing, especially when legislative and regulatory actions aren't providing new directions. Influence professionals might see this as an opportunity to prepare for future activity, adjusting their portfolios to anticipate rather than react. The absence of court opinions and lobbying activity implies a potential waiting period before any significant shifts occur. This could be a strategic moment for managers reading this policy tape to reassess their current positions and identify potential gaps in their advocacy strategies. It's a chance to recalibrate before the next wave of regulatory or court signals hits. A stagnant hiring spread also suggests that agencies are holding back on expanding their workforce, which could be a precursor to more significant agency shifts once the regulatory and judicial landscapes become more active. Those in the know might interpret this as a signal to tighten their focus on existing relationships and prepare for when the hiring tide turns. Ultimately, government affairs directors should be cautious yet opportunistic. With secondary signals lying dormant, now is the time to strengthen foundational strategies and anticipate the ripple effects of future regulatory movements. The skilled practitioner knows the value of patience and preparation in a seemingly quiet market. The government affairs and influence market is a complex landscape defined by regulatory shifts, compliance challenges, and evolving stakeholder dynamics. Are you proactively mapping regulatory signals to anticipate compliance friction and minimize protest risks? How are you positioning your stakeholders to adapt swiftly to policy velocity and lane changes? What strategies are you employing to ensure zero agency stalls and maintain seamless terrain navigation? Our conviction is clear. Strategic foresight and agile positioning are imperative to thrive in this fluid environment, ensuring that opportunities are captured and risks are meticulously managed. Last thing before I sign off, and I want to be direct. 2 seats left in this week's CR Freeze Shaping Window Review. When this window closes, the terrain that justified it moves on. Next week's signal will be different. Next week's session will read a different board. If the brief we just walked through gave you a reason to act, this is the week to act on it. Code CR65. communities.theicon.ai/capture the-govcon-elite. 4.5 million records, 4 verticals ready. Provenance traced from bill to award. Like and subscribe if you're managing a federal grant, research, GovCon, or commercial portfolio. I drop a new GPS brief every weekday. All links, terminal preview, Shipley sessions, live cohort calendar, and the full brief are at communities.theicon.ai/capture/the-govcon-elite. Register free, and it's all there. This is Gabriel. I'll see you tomorrow.